What's up, y'all? Back with another video, man. And this is under Insider Ties, of course, and I'm going to be getting a ton of notifications, so if my phone keeps dinging, ignore it. This is a quick discussion on what I see as a very problematic thing for Foot Locker and its entities. And let's get into it. So first off, a couple of days ago, I get an email. And of course on IG, because I only follow a bunch of people, I don't really post on IG, I don't do anything. I simply follow all of the brands and sneaker companies and stuff like that so I can get information and see what's happening and stay abreast of all things. But I get an email, Foot Action. Foot Locker, if you guys aren't aware, consists of so many branches on their tree. Here's your root, right? And when you go up the root, everything flows from the root and goes outwards, and you have all of these branches. I'm going to look at Foot Locker as a rose bush, because in order for a rose bush to grow, you have to prune it. Trees can kind of just grow and they'll just get wild. So let's look at Foot Locker itself as a rose bush. There are a lot of problems with this rose bush. Somebody's not pruning it correctly. So what happens is you get all of these branches and none of them are really connected or speaking to each other, it seems. I am not inside of Foot Locker. I don't work for the company and I don't consult with them or anything. I simply look at it and I question why. So here's Foot Locker, right? Here's this base. In this base, you have these branches growing and you have Foot Action, Foot Locker, Kids Foot Locker, Champs, 602, and then you branch off and you have Network, because Foot Locker's invested in Network, Pensole, they're invested in Pensole, Rockets of Awesome, they're invested in Rockets of Awesome. They've just added Atmos, they've added WSS, and there's so many different branches. They also have Greenhouse, which is very similar to Network. And there's this redundancy throughout all of these things. When you have so much redundancy, and they've gotten rid of the Foot Action banner, so we can take that out. But here's what's interesting. On 10/12, they've gotten rid of the banner, basically. On 10/12, they send a letter out talking about Op-Ed, their new private label clothing line. A few days ago, on 10/20, they launched Locker, Foot Locker's private label clothing line. The clothes are very similar. 10/12, Op-Ed, private label. On Wednesday, which was 10/27, which was yesterday, 30% off. Fast fashion has a serious issue that we have to get under control, and Foot Locker has the ability to actually curtail a lot of the things that they are attempting to create. Now, they tried to do private label, which I'm a fan of private label. I think private label insulates companies from direct-to-consumer strategies. But they have to be done correctly. In 2018, Foot Locker and Foot Action, they had CSG, which was under Champs. They had what used to, it looked like FootJoy, but it was a Foot Locker line. And these things have been around, and on and off, they've created like t-shirts and sweaters and hoodies and things like, I'm actually wearing a pair of old Foot Locker pants right now. They had these lines, but in 2018, they created Bespoke. Now, if you don't know what Bespoke is actually when craftsmen get together and they build one-offs pretty much, or they build very detailed footwear, clothing, accessories. Bespoke is very high end. Someone inside of Foot Locker thought it was a good idea to take the name of something that's mass produced and slap Bespoke on it. And I thought it was a good move, but what I wrote here summarizes why it was not a good move. It could have been, but it was not. And this is what I wrote. So, and I'm reading from right over here to the side. Foot Locker, obviously, and I'm going to put the link in the description, understands the importance of private label, and this was a very good move by the company, but it would behoove the people who are running the division to begin reaching out to store managers. I'm a street level person. So as an analyst, I don't come at it from the C-suite. I come at it from the street level because this is where I am. I go into the stores. I see what's going on. The store managers are there. They see who comes in. They know what's happening in their stores. If your store manager's not involved, your product's going to be wrong. Foot Locker does not include their store level managers in any of the process. And you can tell. Now, those store managers do a good job of implementing whatever the plan is because they don't have a choice. But if you are not utilizing your best resource, you're not fulfilling the strategy of endears. Now, I came up with endears a long time ago. And what it is a process of rolling out a product. Foot Locker hits none of these things. None of them. And it's obvious because here is a company that on 10/12 launched a private label, and 10/27 marked it down to 30%. When you go to the site, there's no information here. It looks like bricks and wood. It looks like Kanye's Gap. It looks like everything else. You already carry Nike in your doors. You already carry Adidas in your doors. Elevate the visual merchandising of what's inside your store because you are not doing private label correctly. And then you're going to force the managers to fix the problem when you did not include them in the first place. Op-ed, already marked down. Now, if it doesn't sell at this price, it's going to mark down some more. If it doesn't sell at this price, it's going to mark down some more. When Bespoke was created and it didn't sell, it was marked down to $9.99. When Foot Locker invested in the name Superheroic, when Superheroic didn't sell, you could walk in the store and get it for $9.99. That's not the fault of Superheroic. That's not the fault of the CSG or Bespoke or Op-ed, or it's the fault of all of these branches not being pruned and operated correctly. So I'll leave you with this question. Foot Locker pruned Foot Action. All of the investment that they've made, they can't divest. How will Foot Locker fix its problems if they don't begin to prune the rose bush? I said rose bush. That's the question for today, and that's it. And that's what I'm leaving you guys with. Always thinking, always figuring it out. See you guys on the next one. It's way before Friday. I should have did this on Friday. Either way. Peace, y'all.